Hey, what is up, guys? It is JoJo Man here, and I'm coming at you with my first ever video, and this is the top 10 roller coasters at Alton Towers. And obviously, if you're a coaster enthusiast, and obviously I love coasters, and that's why I'm doing this video, but you might have heard of this. I don't want to say it's famous or like at elite status, but it's a pretty good theme park. It's one of the biggest in England, and so without further ado, I present to you the top 10 roller coasters at Alton Towers. So at number 10, this is going to come as no surprise to anyone. This is the Octonauts Roller Coaster Adventure. And this is a tiny little coaster. It's themed to the Octonauts TV show in CB's Land. And it's small, it's short, there's no airtime, there's no intensity, there's no inversions, there's no launch. And, obviously its only purpose is to entertain the kids. And so honestly, there's not much more to it. So at number 9, we have the Runaway Mine Train. And this is a pretty good mine train coaster. It's a Mack-powered coaster. It's good theming in Katanga Canyon. And it interacts with the river rapids, which is pretty cool. And, it's bigger than actually the Flying Fish or the Scorpion Express at Chessington World of Adventure, because this is actually one of the custom models, like the one at Europa Park. And honestly, I actually kind of wish they put VR on this instead of Galactica, but I'll have more on that later. And I don't want to say this is the best family coaster at Alton Towers, which, spoiler, 13 is going to come later on in this list. But it's pretty good. It's not the best theming in the world, but it's still pretty good. And I'm not sure. And, I was tempted to put this at number 8, but I think it was just barely beaten out by the Spinball Wizard, or formerly known as the Sonic Spinball. And this is a mirror-shown spinning coaster. It's okay. I mean, I don't think it fits in with the theming at all with Alton Towers. But, I think definitely Spinning Dragon at Chessington World of Adventure is better. But it's a shorter ride, and I definitely, I think I put this on here. And it's number 8 just because it's a longer ride and it's a faster ride. And I think stats don't always determine it, but I think in this case it's just better, and it's a teensy-weeny bit better than a mine train. And honestly, it's just like I said, because of those stats. So at number 7, we have Oblivion, and this was the first ever Billigard and Mabillard dive coaster. And this was from their early days when they were still making the stand-up coasters. But it's cool theming, and it's themed to the X sector, and it's got that cool mist effect when you go down the tunnel. I don't think many other dive coasters do that. And there's longer ones, there's faster ones, there's more intense ones, there's ones with more inversions. Honestly, but this was the first ever one, and so you gotta give it props for that. And you know what? It's one trick pony. You got that drop, then you've got that first turnaround, and there's honestly nothing else to it. And next up, we've got 13, and like I said before, out of all the family coasters at Alton Towers, this is definitely the best. And I've ridden Verbolten, and I'm almost tempted to say this looks better than Verbolten. Obviously, like I said, that's a little taller, it's a little faster, and obviously it's got that launch. But you know what? This looks very good as well. And it's got that very cool theming, and it's not only, I think in my opinion, one of the best themed coasters at Alton Towers, but one of the best themed coasters in Merlin in general. And what I like about it is it's not like commercial like the CB's Land stuff, which Alton Towers has really been doing a lot of lately. And I think this looks like a really good family coaster. And debatably, it's better than Rita, but I don't think it was as good as Rita, Queen of Speed, which I put at number 5. And this is an intimate accelerated, similar to something like Indy Blitz at Heidi Park. And it's a very short ride. It's just about 2,000 feet of track. And what's actually interesting is because it's an intimate blitz coaster, it's very smooth, and it's got tight turns, but it only lasts about 20 seconds, launch to brakes, which is kind of sad, honestly. I think rides, for me, I think they should be more than a minute long. But, it's a good ride. It's Intamin, and so the worst Intamin coaster is about the best, Vekoma coaster. but so still is pretty good. It's got very cool theming, and obviously with the Alton Towers Loving Care program, they've been doing a lot of stuff to this to really enhance the ride experience out in the queue. But it looks good, and honestly, you can basically see all there is to do to it from the POV. And one thing I would like to point out is even the station. I'm not sure it looks the nicest, but yeah. So at number 4, and this is actually something very interesting because this is a coaster that hasn't actually come out yet, and this is Secret Weapon number 8. Which, by the way, don't quote my grammar, it hasn't come out yet. It's not built yet. But something interesting to note is if you look at that second lift hill there, after like that mid-flat section, it actually looks almost like a launch. And so that's something pretty cool. Will it be better than Invader? We'll have to see. It looks to be, in terms of stats, bigger, and it really, that first drop sort of hugs the terrain. And it looks good. It's GCI, so obviously it's gonna be smooth, and we're gonna get a lot of airtime. And we're just gonna have to wait till 2018 to see if this coaster will be any good. And so at number 3, we've got Galactica. And this was the world's first ever VR coaster, and that's what it's advertised at. And it's low to the ground. It's got 2 inversions. It's around 40 miles per hour, and it looks good. It looks to be just about as good as the Superman Ultimate Flights at Six Flags Parks. Obviously, it's not as good as Starry Sky Ripper or like Flying Dinosaur or Tatsu. Like, you really can't compare this to that. But it looks okay. It's definitely better than these Zamperla Valair models. And yeah, it's definitely better than Air, but with the whole Galactica theming, I'm really not sure it fits in with Alton Towers and the big theme they're going with there. Still, it looks good though, but it's definitely not as good as their number 2 coaster, which is the Smiler. And it's got some pretty creepy theming. The top 2 both have some very creepy and eerie theming. But this is one of the first Gerstlauer Infinity coasters. Obviously, it's definitely one of the best Gerstlauer coasters in general. And it looks to be about as good as like Tatsubisha at Fuji Q Highlands, which is a Gerstlauer Eurofighter. But in terms of Gerstlauers, those are obviously the top 2 models that they make. And it's got the most inversions out of any roller coaster in the world. It's got 14. And it's definitely a longer ride with the 2 lift tails. And I've heard from some people, actually, that it actually gets kind of boring after a while because it's just inversion after inversion after inversion. But yeah, it definitely wasn't as good as their number 1 coaster, which is, you guessed it, Nemesis. And this is one of the best B&M inverts out there. It's not the fastest, and it's not the longest, but it's not the tallest either, but it's one of the first, and it's got, like I said, pretty eerie theming, and you know, it's so sad they did take out the Blood River. And it looks to be, I'm interested to hear, comment down below, do you think this is better than the Swarm at Fort Park, or not as good? But it looked very good. Obviously, it's known for being so intense with those tight baked turns, and like I said, it's hugging the terrain. But yeah, so that is my number 1. So thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe and hit the big old thumbs up button down below, and comment down below. I know that I will be doing, my next videos will be the If I Ran Cedar Fair and my top 10 Merlin Entertainment Parks, but comment down below what you want to see next. And I did have some ideas. I'm either going to do top 10 theme parks in the world or my top 10 Disney parks, but yeah, comment down below. And I'll leave you guys on that. So bye, and I see you guys next time.